Hi, everybody. I'm going to do a journey today. We're going to look at the collective energies. We're going to look at the dark stuff. We're going to look at the light stuff. We're going to look at the dark stuff as in the twisted, nasty, gross stuff, okay? Because some dark stuff is really beautiful. Dark that is inner peace, that doesn't have to have a vision of any kind. It can just simply be a nothingness. And it can be full of love. So dark can be beautiful too. And there's some dark, we represent it as dark. It feels twisted and ugly. It feels lost in and of itself, like it's lost in the dark. So I want to be open to journeying into anything that is lost in the dark of our human race, that is appropriate for me to take a look at, to do energy work for it, to help us understand what this is, to help to set it free. I really want to, whatever I can do to open up our collective human race to something that's going to help us to grow in an empowered and wise, genuine way. Not where we are sort of the fish led by the hook into a place that we're going to later regret, and more of the difficult learning, right? There's been so much difficult learning on this planet for a long time. You can't deny it. It's been a lot of generations of difficult learning. It just never stops. But I feel like we're reaching a pinnacle of something new, okay? Where any type of infection that's been rotting away in hiding, in secret, needs to come out, needs to be exposed. Genuine truth, genuine honesty, genuine exposure to who we are is something I long to hear, as people just talking from the heart versus people talking from a place of convenience and subliminal messages. When you speak from the heart, you might say things that are different than the way people are hearing it. Like if you say something that is collectively on a bandwagon of comfort, you're going to hear people repeating the same sentences. And it's like it came from themselves, but it's just a repeat of something that was said on the news, you know? And so if it's genuinely coming from your heart, it's going to sound like something unfamiliar, different, and it's going to get the wheels turning for yourself, for you to decide what that means to you and how you want to express the meaning of it. Going deeper into your own communication style. Not to say, that trips my trigger, I'm in for this, but say, that trips my trigger, I like it, but why do I like it? Do I like it because it makes me feel safe? Do I like it because everybody's saying it's the thing I'm supposed to like? It's the whole concept of going to church on Sunday. That used to be a big deal, I swear, over the last few decades. People having to go to church on Sunday to prove that they're a good person isn't really as popular as it used to be. So people were just doing things in order to look good. Wow, amazing. Such genuine, deep-hearted people. It's all about the appearances instead of the genuine actions, you know? And oftentimes the genuine actions are outside the box of everybody's comfort zone. And so it can be a little derailing, and then that person can be attacked for being different, but genuinely different. Okay, so I want to do a journey, as I said, into our collective energies. And maybe I want to do a journey as some sort of segue into being able to talk about things that are difficult for me to talk about. I want to do healing for majorly imbalanced energies that we all know about, that exist, that are sort of brushed under the rug, and we don't need to think about that or look into that. But those energies have to be looked into. Those energies have to be acknowledged. Do you guys ever get this feeling in your life like something was going to happen and then it never happened? And then you wonder why you were kind of lingering on that feeling for so many years. You could have been doing something instead of waiting for something to happen. there's this part of me that chooses to exist in a version of Earth where certain disturbing realities don't exist in that version of Earth. But perhaps that's something inside myself that is wanting to say that it's not as real as it really is. And maybe we need to start acknowledging how real this disturbing stuff is. And we need to start doing something about it, because waiting around for something to be done isn't working. We have to actually say, this is our Earth, these are our people, these are the souls and the choices, and we agree with it or we don't agree with it. I had this vision of every single country. There aren't any CIAs or secrets or anything. There's nothing to hide from any country. They don't need to hide anything from any other country, because what would we need to hide from each other anyway? And that all people were able to access all the databases of information of any country, and everything that that specific country and their people were able to discover on any subject. And that way we would have direct access to growing as a global community that is valuing each country's unique, diverse approach to evolving and sharing new experiences, new learning for the betterment of all. Now, imagine America, for instance. How many secrets, right? Or Russia or China, how many secrets? Like any country, how many secrets? Come on now, how many secrets? Now let's say we the people are done with secrets. So if we're done with secrets, how do we demand 100% of all information be exposed? And we have access to 100% because we, the people, run the government. The government doesn't run us. See, this is where everything's getting confusing, because we are just leaning on the government to create the world that we should all be happy to live in, but they aren't creating it. They aren't creating that world. Just a thought that comes to mind, for instance, anybody who has kids knows how hard it is. Like, there's such a huge middle class. A middle class could be $50,000 a year for your household income, and you're still making too much money to be able to get free health care or free daycare. $50,000 a year annual income to take care of kids? Come on now. And you can't afford $1,000 per kid per month daycare, because you're only making how much a month after taxes? There's very little support for families, and a lot of families are middle class families that are so ridiculously overworked, and they can't provide their vision of an awesome reality for their kids that has to do with education and teachers are worn out, and there's not the types of environments where kids can just go and socialize in a safe place where they can get to know each other and have fun together. It's a weird world. I mean, the playgrounds aren't being used. Kids are on their computers, and that's their social activity. They need more adults to guide them through new experiences, like how to build an engine, how to grow a garden, how to look at the stars through a telescope, how to do other things, how to experience life, and have mentors. I mean, I'm just throwing out random ideas here, but where's the government at with creating genuine, heartfelt experiences that we're all given access to this information. We're all encouraged. Every family can do it. And it doesn't matter if you're middle class or upper class. It's for all kids to thrive in the same environment, or lower class or whatever, where we can all of our kids can thrive. There's something that has to change in the world, and it starts with no more secrets. It starts with people stepping up and standing up for what is actually creates a genuinely good world for our kids to live in, for each other to live in, with support for everybody in a way that is educational, interesting, gets the wheels turning, creative, passionate, supportive with love. There's so much thin and superficial brainwashing going on. I'm so sick of it. Now, I had this vision of, about all of these like underground secrets and possibilities about the Pentagon or Washington, DC, and, the White House and all that. Why can't we all have access to this as a historical, incredible place where we can get into every single nook and cranny where any kind of dark stuff that's ever happened or that is currently happening, we can have access to that information, know exactly who those people are, and that we can talk about this. That's as far as my mind went, because my heart doesn't want to persecute anybody. We're all insecure on some level. And some of us, our demons have way too big of a hold on us, and we can't overcome that. Does that make us less of a soul? Or does that mean all of the stronger souls need to step up to the plate and help these souls that are struggling with their own personal demons, instead of letting that stuff get out of control and pretending like it's not actually happening? So, all right, I'm just going to pause. I want to just see what I'm inspired to say next. All right, I'm going to go into the collective energies, and we're going to look at the human race. And it's okay to look at the human race, the dark side of the human race, and let's see what happens. All right, my guides we're just going to have to talk through this. We'll probably have to waddle through this because I haven't really identified what it is that I really want to say, but there's it's almost like it's jammed up as so many things that I want to say. There's so many things that I want to do, and it kind of gets overlapped, and that I can't really determine how to begin or where to start or what it exactly is. It's like a big old ball of something. It's also anger. It's also revealing to me as anger, silent anger. It reminds me of myself in a way. My goal is always to do the right thing. And if I'm told that to do this is to do the right thing, and then I find out that whatever structure, like the structure of society or education, that this concept of doing the right thing was just hurting the cattle of myself. It's kind of like the whole idea of, if I can go and get my bachelor's degree, if I can go to college, I'm going to get a good job. I was never able to get a good job with a college degree. I think a lot of people start entry level, and that's just as far as you get, unless you have a certain knack or a certain something that is inspiring you to go up the corporate ladder. I feel like I was never meant to. I was meant to find myself doing this work, which I had no idea I was going to end up doing this with my life. But that wasn't honest. That was a dishonest and convenient thing to say. And for me to say I have a college degree makes me sound maybe better, but it doesn't give me access to anything more. It's just a big expense that got me in the same position as if I would have just started working right out of high school. You could start any of these entry-level jobs with a high school degree. I feel like that was a lie. It made me angry having kids and not being able to get them decent daycare. And nobody really knows what the middle-class parent goes through. Nobody has a clue these days. And you have kids in a restaurant and people tell you to be quiet. You have kids out at a playground and people will come out of their houses and tell you to be quiet. You have no idea what I've been through with people don't want to hear kids laughing and playing outside anymore. It's like people want kids to disappear. People want kids to be robotic, silent little things that sit in a chair and are absorbed into their electronics and don't have a personality anymore. This is serious. This is serious stuff. And then we have this huge concept about the government, and we have to do what's best because it's convenient for the government to tell us what that is, and then we just do it. Because so many of us just want to do the right thing. But what if doing the right thing was the original programming that we are struggling to override? Doing the wrong thing is the right thing. Now, doing the wrong thing, which is hurting the entire structure, literally stabbing it in the heart of this entire subliminal structure of psychological programming, is going to feel like the wrong thing to do is absolutely the right thing to do. And people getting hurt and people being afraid is the next step for their growth and development. The government being exposed, every single little tiny doorway into every crack and crevice being opened where we can go and look and see what the hell's going on here. And if that's going to be embarrassing for some people that have been doing the wrong thing for a long time and we've just been pretending it's a better earth than what it really is, whose fault is this? It's just as much our responsibility to step up and say, it's time for me to take a look at what's going on here. It's time for you to open up, and I want to have access to every secret and everything that anything that's ever been hidden. We're going to be able to see it now because we the people can see it now. We the people are ready to see it now. And enough of this BS media. I am so sick of it. It was quite obvious when it came to the Trump versus Biden presidential election. It was so flipping obvious how much it was the first time I'd ever seen the media wasn't a neutral representation anymore. It was all this very specific and carefully inputted like rhetoric about degrading and well, we all know this. Oh, wait, the media is saying we all know this? They're saying these little inserts of little bits of language like everybody thinks this way. Didn't you know? Well, of course that's terrible. Well, they shouldn't be doing this. They should be doing that. Since when does the media talk like this? That's not neutral news. That's not just presenting it as it is. That's personal opinion. The news is supposed to include personal opinion. There is so much of it's just a joke. It's just a complete and utter joke. And here we are conservatively, just quietly, just calmly. I need to focus on my life. I'm a middle-class parent. I don't have time to freaking try to figure out how to voice against this disruption that I'm seeing. It's just one of these things that goes way over my head, but I see it and I know it and I'm upset about it, but there's nothing I can do about it anyway. I feel like these truckers are showing us that we all can do something, that we are all important in this, and that we need to do something. And I'm talking about disturbing, gross stuff that needs to come out. Satanic ritual level stuff. This isn't just kosher, lighthearted, this viewpoint or that viewpoint about the vaccinated or unvaccinated and COVID. We're talking about really deep, dark things. Also need to be exposed. I'm just going to chill out for a minute here and I want to just recollect myself. And And I don't know if I'm making this message because I'm trying to, again, it's like this big ball of something that I've been politely just accepting it, but I feel like you can't just accept the way things are. If you feel that the way things are is actually, you can take a look at society and see there's our major problems. And if you just accept it and go with the grains and hope for a better life somehow, and that better life never really happens, you're living in a weird sleep state of just coasting without trying to create a loud impact, just hoping and silently waiting and complaining behind the scenes at whatever your viewpoint is about the world. But there is a divine truth to the right and wrongs of things. There is a better way that we can live in harmony with one another. There's something really flippin' dark that I came across. And right now what I'm doing is I'm putting light into very specific people. Because when you put light, we have leaders, right? All over the world we have leaders. And are these actual leaders or are they just figureheads? And what's behind the figureheads is something a little bit more scary and more influential, okay? And so we blame the leaders when really we need to be pointing fingers at what's behind them, what's hiding behind them. So I put light into the leaders in order to help them be themselves. But some of these leaders are just as dark as what's behind them. And putting light isn't saying, like I'm clapping my hands like, yes, keep being as twisted and jacked up as you really are. I'm going to put light into you in support of what you're doing. No, putting light into somebody. You can put light into anybody. Any problem, you can put light into it. You can put light into people who have addictions, or people who are narcissists, or people who, are definitely people that are making choices that are harming others and deflecting that harm away from themselves, or they're harming themselves to a great extent and they aren't going to let anybody help them, or whatever. You put light into people, or light into movements, or light into circumstances, and that light actually illuminates the pain. It illuminates the avoidance. It illuminates the twisted, illuminates the demon. The demon doesn't want to look at itself in the mirror. So as soon as you put light and it's forced to look at itself in the mirror, it flips the living daylights out. So the more we visualize light in everything, then the truth comes out. The light is enlightenment. The light is what nurtures the wound. It gives the wound a chance to heal. And sometimes the healing has to be self-reflected. Sometimes the healing has to be uncomfortable. Sometimes the healing has to be a doorway of the next life experiences. And we put light into everything, we start to alter the vibrational pattern of it, to transform it into something that's hidden and secretive, into something that is exposed now, okay? For what it really is. So if I want to put light into something that's really dark, I can now expose it for what it is so that everybody can see it. So not encouraging it to continue to be as dark as ever. Putting light into something is exposing it to itself, or exposing it to the world, or exposing it to face whatever its insecurities are, etc. So when I'm looking at what's behind these figureheads, I'm seeing that terrible, terrible things are existing behind the scenes. Very terrible things exist behind the scenes. We already know this. We already know this. We already know this. And maybe it's just too weird, or maybe it's just too extreme, or maybe for anybody to really know how to believe it or how to do anything about it. But this stuff needs to come out. I mean, this is an infection in our society. This is an infection in our collective growth. So we're going to continue to evolve and grow as a human race with this disgusting infection in our system. So generation after generation, we're not just people. We are an energy body, a collective energy body. So that energy body has a big old tumor in it, and we're just ignoring it. We're doing nothing about it. We're living with it and saying whatever. And it's quite obvious the world is starting to become illuminated. That's why a lot of this dark stuff is being, a lot of the absurdity, let's just call it absurdity, is being more visible, is more obvious. It's not able to hide. I'm really excited about it, to be honest. I really feel like February is giving us an introduction to a lot of power of the people. A lot of power of the people. And what's my personal power? I have the personal power to journey into literally anybody, anything, any movement, because I'm a part of it anyway. I'm a part of every single human being on this planet. I'm a part of every movement on this planet. I'm a part of the big tumor. I'm a part of the good and the bad. And if I am the part of it that is saying, I want to heal this tumor, I can go right into that tumor and start healing it. We all can. So maybe I'm not a trucker out there and as a physical body making that stand in that way, but I am a human being who can project my consciousness into anything and start healing it. And I can go into some pretty dark stuff and heal it. And I can go through some pretty jacked up, manipulative environments and break that stuff entirely down. Why am I not doing that? I am. I just feel like I could be doing more of it. And I could be doing more of it in a visible way, where I'm not doing it behind the scenes, but I'm doing it where everybody can see that they have the power to do this too. And everybody can see what it actually looks like. And it's okay to feel safe with really gross stuff, just so you know. It's okay to see disturbing things and shake your head and say how terrible that is, because it is terrible. But if we don't start looking at this and we don't care more than this, then where are we? We're just in a weird sleep state, just drifting through this life and hoping to keep it like fresh and easy and somehow coherent in some way that makes us feel safe, like going to church on Sunday. Maybe we're just telling ourselves that if I go to church on Sunday, even if I don't understand any of this, then if something is true about heaven and hell, then I could just go to heaven because I went to church on Sunday. And then everybody can see that I go to church on Sunday. So then that would make me be a better person, and that people could think that I'm a good person because I go to church. See, this is the type of thinking that is really, really thin. It's not helping that person. It's not helping the world. It's not helping Christianity. It's not helping anything. It's completely lost in a very thin and superficial viewpoint of avoiding being the genuine heart of who you are. It's just sleeping with the tide and just going with the flow and not really taking the time to have a clue who you are or who you want to be and why you want to be that, and speak from your own heart instead of just regurgitating whatever rhetoric you hear that's convenient, and then feel like you're taking some stand and you don't even know what you're talking about. Anyway, this is all I'm going to say about this. I'm going to make a second video. Thank you guys for watching.